If you are doing an internship that is undergraduate research, we want you to also know about the expectations that have been determined by the faculty. And so we're going to go over those very quickly. Just share the screen. It's just a handout and I'm going to attach it, but we do want you to give attention to it. The very first item, I'm just going to read them with you, but to make sure that you know all the lab safety rules and follow them, while you're working in the laboratory. If there's any papers assigned, that are associated with your research, make sure you read those. This will increase your background knowledge. So do that for sure. And ask questions regarding those papers or the experiments or any procedures that aren't clear to you. Make sure you ask questions. This is the opportunity to learn. And do not give the appearance of being uninterested or bored, with your research during lulls in the experiments, because there will be lulls, but this is a good time for you to learn more, that gives you a moment to catch up on reading or make notes about your research. Then number 5, when you have completed a task or an experiment, be proactive, take initiative on what are you going to do next. Think about what the next steps should be or what tasks need to be done around the lab. And I would suggest, if it's very clear doing it, don't sit around and wait for instructions from your mentor. At the same time, don't make assumptions that you're going to reorganize everything for them. Use good judgment about this, of what needs to be asked and what does not. Some things, you can just take the initiative and go ahead and do it. And item 6, keep a composition book or a section in your research notebook about techniques and protocols so that you can refer to those as your research progresses. And then number 7, record, organize, and file all the data thoroughly and carefully so that it will be of use to you and to those who have to access it in the future. You are doing this, to help them and to move this research forward. And so others will have to be able to, ascertain what it was that you did and what findings, that sort of thing, any data that was needs to be recorded so that they can. And if appropriate, create data sheets for collection of data and maximize the types of information that you can obtain from the experiments. Then number 8, treat the ideas of your peers with respect. Okay, make sure that you do that. Encourage equal participation from all team members on every aspect of the research project or the study. This is important. You know this from working at Berea, and I hope that you would be able to set a good example in this regard in the lab where you're working. And then number 9, keep the lab and the bench and prep rooms, organism maintenance areas, very clean and tidy. And when you're using living organisms in research, ensure that they are properly maintained and cared for, okay, as based on as the procedures, everything you've been given. And be aware that there may be times when your research will require you to work weekends or evenings. Don't be surprised by this. This is not uncommon. So just, be aware of it and willing and expect it, actually, that you will have to sometimes go in the evenings or on the weekends to follow up with certain experiments or research. And then at the end of the project, make sure that you turn in any keys they've given you or anything else, the research materials, notebooks, to your mentor and clean up all the research areas. I want to make sure you have also listened to the other session, making the most of your internship, because that does tell you also to be sure you leave thank you notes or send thank you messages by email to express your appreciation for the opportunity to work with them.